Welcome to the Modern Titus to Women Unplugged podcast, where we dive fearlessly into the untold stories and struggles of women's lives. This is a space of authenticity where no topic is off limits. Each episode is a journey of discovery and empowerment, confronting challenges with honesty and vulnerability. From maintaining a home to healing from abuse, balancing motherhood with personal passions, and navigating single parenting, widowhood, divorce, and post-abortion heartbreak, we explore it all. With special guests offering wisdom and perspective, we uncover forgiveness and reignite love in marriage. Join us for soul-stirring conversations. Tune in. Your story matters. Welcome to the Modern Titus to Women Unplugged podcast, where we fearlessly dive into unspoken struggles that shape the lives of women today. As part of our mentoring role, we seek resources and support designed to help women thrive. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, Gregory Meadows. Now, Gregory wears many hats. The most significant ones are Certified Connect Parent Facilitator, Life Coach, as well as the organizer of a virtual men's circle. Through his work with hundreds of families, he has accumulated a wealth of knowledge. So today, what we're going to explore today is how can we women better support the men in our lives, ensuring that they feel valued, understood, and encouraged. So let's go. All right, Gregory, I think what I'd like you to start off, if you want to expound on your credentials.
Yes.
And, that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you, Lorna. I am honored to be here. My name is Gregory Meadows. I have a degree in psychology. I also have a life coaching certification. I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and I've worked with hundreds of families, hundreds of single moms, hundreds of different types of like fathers, stepfathers, things like that. I currently am a part of a virtual men's circle where men can receive support and we can father each other in a healthy, mature, masculine way. I also teach a virtual parenting class across the country that you can participate in. It is a 10-week virtual course, and it really helps families that are struggling with connection. Kids are struggling with behavior issues, trauma, stress, things like that. We really help families reconnect and to find like the love that they have for one another again. And so that is a bit about what I do and my credentials.
Okay, that's wonderful. I know you answered me when I'd asked you a question about autism. If the Connect Parents class assists parents who have autistic children.
Yes. So we do work with parents who have moderate to high functioning ASD children because it focuses on skills, not necessarily specifics. So we're teaching parents how to parent differently and add to the toolbox that they already have, because a lot of parents are already doing the best they can. We're not there to judge or shame or blame them or anything like that. We want to give you new ways to think, communicate, so that you will feel connected to your children and your children will feel that you are intentionally connecting to them.
Good. Now, what we want to dive into is, discuss about men. And we'd like to start off with discussing the generational trauma from a masculine perspective.
Yeah. So I truly believe that over the last 70 years, basically from the 1950s, the paradigm or the archetype of masculinity was being strong, silent, unemotional, unfazed, and that's just not reality anymore. We still can be strong and have emotions, and we do need support from other men. And so So baby boomers who have children my age and a little bit younger, they only taught us one way to be, which was stoic, not emotional. So we are recreating a mature masculine paradigm where we can include the best things of previous generations and men, which they were hard workers. They didn't give up. They persevered. They faced tremendous adversity in all kinds of different cultures and variations and ages and things like that.
Right.
But we are moving into a new time where we can acknowledge that we do have feelings as men. And we do that through men's circles. We can do that with our partners if they are a safe person to talk to and things like that. So we're working on not passing along trauma to future generations of boys so that they can live out and be their highest and best and most mature self, to be strong and to also to be can be emotional and can protect and provide.
Okay. Okay. One of the questions we have, and it's not even in the United States alone, but it's globally. Why are we losing our men to suicide? What's going on? Why they're just giving up and taking the last resort?
Yeah.
What's
Women are really good about community. It's hardwired into your DNA. And it is not so much hardwired into our DNA. We tend to be lone wolves. We tend to, if we have a problem, we just YouTube it, or we look it up online. Like, how do I
Yeah,
fix my depression, or how do I fix my anxiety? And we tend to
right.
treat things almost like an oil change, very mechanical, very methodical. And there are certain things that we can do that with in life as men. And there are much more complicated things like PTSD, like being abused as a child, things like that, that we can't treat like an oil change, for example, right? And so it's very sad and it's very alarming. Our current society and culture has increase the amount of pressure that men are experiencing, both in the workplace, to make money, to be able to support a family on one income, which is near impossible. Only 0.1% of all men in the United States make above $100,000 a year. So it's a combination of factors, but just the pressure to be able to make six figures, to be able to be a viable partner for a woman. There are just higher expectations for men more now than ever. Men are more isolated because of technology. So I don't have to go and see my buddy. I can just text him or I can FaceTime him. But we need to reconnect as men. We need to get together with our male friends and talk about what's bothering us, because chances are we're not alone. There are other men who have faced the same struggles and challenges and trials that we have, but we won't know that unless we reach out, unless we ask for help.
How can we support them? How can we as women support our men who are going through all of this? Because we are supposed to be their ride or die.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's not happening.
yeah. It's very unfortunate. I have noticed an entitlement culture. I am entitled to have a man that's over 6 foot tall, that makes over six figures, and is this and this and this. There was a study done recently when women were asked what they wanted in a partner. They listed at least 20 things. at least 20, right? When men were asked what they want, they have three things. It's pretty simple. And so I'm noticing like a little bit of an entitlement culture, but what we can do, or what I recommend for women is talk to the men in your life. Ask them how they're doing and don't just accept the answer, fine, right? Ask them how they're really doing, right? Because men, I have a saying, men slay dragons from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. We are struggling to support families and deal with difficult coworkers, deal with health related issues, making sure that the cars are running, making sure the kids are getting to where they need to go, and all these sorts of things, making sure that we're providing and protecting, and we're not only being a father, but we're being a husband, and also being just a man, right? Just having needs as a man. And so I think it would be powerful if women asked how a man is doing, and also to to truly understand what he needs, what he likes. Like maybe he needs 30 minutes after work before he reconnects to the family and goes out and talks to the children. Things like this. You can ask a man, hey, what can I do for you? Because ultimately, in relationships, we are supposed to be of service to one another, right?
Absolutely.
And men understand this. Our love language is acts of service. We are hardwired to be of service, right? And so if there's a woman listening, just asking, what do you need? What can I do for you? Men rarely get asked this question. And you will be surprised at the answer. Some men will be so caught off guard because people don't ask men what they need. They get told what other people need, but oftentimes we don't get asked what we need. And so I would recommend be curious, be open, ask your partner, ask your friend, ask your brother, ask your father, what do you need? How can I support you?
Yeah. I remember when we had a preliminary discussion that I asked you why men were reluctant to share with us. And one of the things that you said that when they tell us anything that is deep or really personal and all of that, when we have an argument, we tend to throw it back in the face.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes time to disagreements and conflict, men can, and usually good men, I'm speaking about good men, like men who are well-adjusted,
yes.
things like that. We tend to fight fairly. We try not to bring up things from the past. Not all men, I'm not saying all men, but in general, we try to argue fairly. We try not to bring up the past. We try to solve the problems and things like that. And so one way that will shut a man down quicker than anything is keeping what I call keeping score. So all relationships have a natural balance to them. And when we feel like we are receiving, that makes us want to give. And when we're giving, that other person is receiving. And I call it a gratitude provision loop. Right. And so when there's reciprocity in a relationship, it feels in harmony, it feels in balance. No one person says, well, I've done the dishes 5 nights this week. There's give and take. There's push and pull. There's leading and following and different things like that. And when relationships get out of balance, that's when scorekeeping comes in. And that means that there's something deeper going on than the dishes, or we missed date night, things like that. And so having a conversation about those deeper things is really important, but men will shut down if our past or our choices are weaponized against us. And the last thing that I'm going to say about this is that because men go out into the world and do battle all the time, we do not want to do battle at home. We want peace. And so if we don't have peace at home, then we're going to keep our armor on the whole time, even when we're sleeping. We're just going to keep our armor on. We're going to keep our sword beside us. We're going to keep our helmet on. We're going to keep all our protection on, because even in our home, which is supposed to be the most sacred sanctuary, if that place is not a safe place for men, he will stay on his guard all the time. And so we do not want to do battle, because men inherently do battle in the world. And if I'm engaging with another man and doing battle, I'm ready to go to battle. But when it's a woman, we are hardwired not to engage in battle with women, but women sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes will pick a battle with us instead of assessing their own inner state, assessing what they need, asking for what they need, being vulnerable, being authentic, versus asking the husband or the partner to be a mind reader. So just communicate, just and realize that oftentimes we are doing the best we can. And it's never going to be perfect. We're going to have good days and bad days, but we have to be allowed to have days where we are not perfect, where we don't get it right. And you can still see the king in us. You can still see the man that you fell in love with. You can still pour into him and focus on the goodness that he is. Because when a woman sees us in a light that is better than we see ourselves as men, we naturally expand into that vision, right? We want to expand into that vision. We want to be our best selves. And when a woman can see that in us and pours that into us, we just naturally light up. We naturally feel strong, and we want to be the hero in your story, women. We really do. And heroes always face trials and tribulations. And so if you can be an ally instead of an adversary, that will change men profoundly.
I like what you said about, and I didn't really think of it, that he's doing battle out there and then he comes home again. He does get a chance to take off the armor. He's on back with the sword, and
Yeah.
that's so true. It's thinking of it is it's deep. It's true. Yes,
Yeah.
that's good. You want to tell us a little about your mentoring group, the safe place for men that you have?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a part of a 501c3 men's organization. It is to help men become the man they've always wanted to be. So we mentor men into being the best version of themselves, whatever that means for that man. So it could be professional development, it could be relationship development, it could be physical health, it could be mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. That man decides to enter into a container with other men where we hold him accountable to the man that he has always known that he could be, but maybe was just having some barriers, blocks, challenges in the way. And that saying, you are the company you keep, is profoundly true. So if you are surrounded with great men, you by default will become great. There's no other choice. You either will rise to the occasion of greatness and become that great man, whatever that means for you, or you will have to step outside that circle for whatever reason. And so we meet weekly. We meet online on Zoom, and we talk about different topics that are relevant to men. But each week we get together, we talk about things that are challenging for us, wins for the week, accomplishments that we've made. And it has changed my life profoundly since I've started 8 years ago in men's work. And we don't bash women. We don't We're not there to put women down or anything like that. We're there to make ourselves better for every aspect of our lives.
But and you could probably tell persons how to get in touch in regard to that. So
Yeah, thank you. So if you're interested in virtual parenting classes, the men's circle, things like that, you can reach out to me, Gregory at walkingmeadows.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Walking Meadows. You can message me there, and then we will have a discussion about what might be the best fit or service for you.
yeah, I didn't forget that part.
Yeah.
So, you know, you said that men are having a difficulty to figure out their role.
Yeah. So there's been a resurgence of traditional gender roles, traditional values, right? Opening the door, paying for the meal, and things like that. And so, each woman that we go on a date with might be a little different, right? So some women might be more independent and say, I can open my own door. Some women may say, I know I can open my own door, but I love it when you do it, right? It's an act of service, right?
Right.
And so, men in their 20s and 30s and on up are kind of figuring out like who we are as men and who we would match best with, right? So, for example, I would match best with someone who believes in traditional gender roles. I want to go out and make I want to make $100 an hour, for example, and like I need help as if I'm going to be in a partnership, I need help with things that I can't do because I'm out slaying dragons and making money and that sort of thing, right? So I really kind of look at it as two people have to row the boat together in the same way. Otherwise, the boat is going to start turning this way or turning this way. We have to row the boat together. We have to be on the same page. And so, whatever your values are, whatever your sexual orientation is, whatever, with your partner, you have to communicate what's going to work best for you and your home. And so, we are trying to figure that out. And so, it's an ongoing process, but I will tell you that men want harmony and we will communicate about that and talk about that and support. We want to be supportive to women and what they need and what's possible, what's feasible, what's unreasonable, those sorts of things. So we're having those conversations, which is really good. And I would encourage women to have those conversations with men. Ask them what their expectations are in a partnership. Ask them, what else? I'm just thinking offhand. Like, what's your ideal relationship look like? Asking those two questions in the first 3 dates will give you a lot of clarity about where a man is and where he wants to be.
I thought about it. Is it a case where we the women are choosing men because they can probably provide, but they don't necessarily have the qualities that we really want, but because they can provide and get us where we need to go.
Yeah.
And then what we do, we marry them, and then we say, guess what? He doesn't have the qualities that I need, but I'm going to change him. I'm going to whip him into it.
Yeah. Lorna, you're so right. Both men and women have unrealistic expectations. I think men date for beauty mostly, right? Not all men, but like most men, it's like we want an 8, 9, or a 10 as far as looks. And if we get some of the other things, sure, fine.
Yeah.
And in the reverse, the stereotype is that women go for safety and money, right? Provision, right? And I'll just deal with all the other stuff. And
Yeah.
really, I encourage having real conversations with your friends, with your therapist about what's realistic, right? And so I know myself really, really well. And so there are things when I meet a prospective woman, I will talk to her and get to know her. And I know there are certain things that will be problematic for being in a relationship with me. And I would encourage women to also think forward a little bit, right? Like if the attraction is missing, but he can provide, that's never going to go away, right?
That's
If
true.
he makes seven figures, but he's kind of a butthole to like poor people, staff members,
Yeah.
that's not going away.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
going away. Like, be
Absolutely.
realistic, right? And I think I have a thing where I write down the top 3 to 5 things that I have to have in a partnership, and I go looking for those things when I'm on a date or anything like that. I ask those questions. I want to get to know that person, because if it's not an alignment, um, you don't want to be with someone who's not meant for you.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to be with you because they are meant for someone else. And
Absolutely.
so we all want to find our person. And so if we accept less than or something that's incompatible, we end up causing harm to ourselves, to the other person. And if there's children involved, which is really kind of a double whammy, then children get hurt.
Yeah.
And I do not want to see that happen. So be realistic, be honest with yourself, talk with, a trusted, fair advisor about, what you're looking for and that sort of thing to see what's realistic.
Okay. What is the concept of taking the mask off? When we had our discussion, you mentioned that, but you just glossed over it. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I found it intriguing. So if you would mind sharing
yeah. So because men do battle in the world, we
mhm,
wear a mask.
mhm,
We have to wear a mask. We can't show that we're afraid to
mhm,
ask our boss for a raise. We we can't be afraid to ask for someone who did something wrong to like fix that or reconcile that. So there's a concept in men's work where we call, wearing the mask, right? And there's a time that men need to wear a mask in the world or in a particular situation. And then there's a time when we should be able to take our mask off and to be our genuine, authentic self. And so
right.
um, I always recommend that men be able to be around other men where they can take their mask off, because it's a safe, confidential space where we can be our truest self. And so I recommend that. And that's something that men just naturally do, because we had to have a mask when we were fighting a saber-toothed tiger as cavemen. So it's built into our
Yeah.
DNA. But in our modern times, we still have different versions of the saber-toothed tiger where we need to wear a mask, but there needs to be a place where we can take that mask, take that armor off. And hopefully that's within our relationship and within our partnership or our home or with our friends or with a therapist. So,
You mentioned about a dating site or a dating. I'm not quite sure what was is a dating app, a dating site. What is it that you
I was just talking about you and I had been in discussions about dating apps and
Oh,
things
okay,
like
okay,
that, and just
okay.
how oftentimes the dating apps are like free day at the community pool. It's just not good, right? And so I think it's really important, if you're going to be on a dating app as a woman, that you um, be fair and disclose things that men need to know. Like if you have children, they need to know up front. Um, things like that,
Yeah.
like things that, you know, will weed out men that are not meant for you and that, just make sure that your pictures are current and you put accurate
Right.
information on there.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that men do not like filters. So if you're using a filter on your picture, we can tell right away, and it's almost a deal breaker because we know that, like, oh, she's got wrinkles or she's got some issues with her thing. Like we care about looks to a certain degree, but good men care about who the person is too,
Yeah.
right? And so if you have a little bit of wrinkles, it's not the end of the world. We don't expect every woman to be a 10. That's just not realistic. And so, I encourage you to not use filters or funny faces, stuff like that. Just a picture of your face, picture of your body, picture of you with your friends. Something else that's important to you is always a good, solid dating profile.
Okay. Okay, we could go on for hours,
Oh
but
yeah.
I,
Yep.
but Greg, I really want to thank you so much. And, this has been an eye opener. It's very insightful. And I'm sure the women hearing the things that coming from a man, from a man perspective, because you opened my eyes to things that I didn't even consider, but how when you spoke about it, I said, oh my gosh, that is so true.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing with us. And I know for myself, I will be using this with my male family members and friends, and share with the other women to know that we need to be conscious and to help our men because we cannot
Yeah.
be losing our men, especially due to suicide,
Yeah.
and that's that's not what that's not good. And
Yeah.
we supposed to be their person that they share the confident that all the things
Yeah.
that we're supposed to
Mhm.
be.
Yeah.
It's
And
yeah.
I just wanted to add, Lorna, it's like, we don't, most men do not expect women to do it all. And we cannot do it all. We were made to be in partnership for one
Right.
another. And
Right.
so if you go to your partner and if there's something that's missing, something that's not getting done, discuss it, like talk about it, be an ally.
Right.
Um, there's a saying, it's you and them against the problem, not you against them with the
Right.
problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So work as a team against the problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So here we have it, folks. Modern Titus to women. And as they said, we were speaking about our men, trying to understand what's going on and how we can assist them. So thank you so much, Gregory. And again, you can just put out how the person's interested in contacting you can contact you. You can just repeat it again so we have it
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end. Yeah.
So you can reach out to me through my email, gregory@walkingmeadows.com. You can also reach out to me on Facebook and Instagram at
Mm-hmm.
Walking Meadows as well. And then I look forward to hearing from you.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorna.
All right. Let me
Have a good day.